everyone, and welcome to This Day. Today is Wednesday, August 9th, and I'm Bobby Higgins. Coming up today on This Day, we have Resident Services Update with Chuck Holland. Resident Services takes care of things like the call center operations, walk-in visits, waste pickup, vehicle registration, and so much more. So Chuck will get us up to speed on everything you need to know regarding resident services. Let's take a look at today's Stay Informed. There are upcoming meetings with the boards for the 2024 Business Plan Review. The board meetings will be televised. GRF's meeting was yesterday, and today at 1:30 is United Mutual, and tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. is Third Mutual. Taking a look at today's weather, the fog is pretty much cleared up over Laguna Woods. The weather will be partly cloudy with the slightest chance of rain with a high of 77. Tonight will be mostly cloudy and slight chance of showers with a low of 67. Tomorrow is mostly cloudy with a high of 73 and a low of 64. And the chance of precipitation for tomorrow is 20%. On Friday, there'll be fog in the morning and it'll be partly cloudy. Then it'll gradually become sunny with a high of 75 and a low of 63. After the fog clears, it'll be mostly sunny on Saturday and Sunday with a high of 76 and a low of 63. And let's take a look at today's sunrise and sunset. This is a beautiful picture of some ducks brought to you by Mark Rabinowitz. And today's sunrise was at 6:08 a.m. and the sunset tonight is at 7:43 p.m. Don't go anywhere. We have a great show for you today on This Day. Resident Services Update will be next right after the break. But first, let's take a look at today's meetings.
Hi, I'm Dan McEachran. 35 years ago, I was lucky enough to get my start in Laguna Woods. First, building patio rooms, then kitchens. Our cabinets are all built locally in Irvine. It all began with patio rooms, like this Majorca model, which we made into a complete room. I'll pull permits. We'll take care of everything. Give me a call. We'll do a nice job for you.
A will is not enough to avoid probate. However, if you have a will, a trust, a complete estate plan, then you will avoid probate. We encourage you to come meet with us. It's complimentary. We'll review the estate plan, make sure that it's current, covers all of your assets, and you're actually protected.
I'd like to personally thank LS Carlson Law for all my family's estate planning needs. I highly recommend them to everyone.
Hi, I'm Linda Honey. I'd be happy to help you and your family. Please call us today.
At Healing Hearts Emergency Animal Hospital, we are dedicated to emergency veterinary care through high-quality veterinary services and compassion. We offer state-of-the-art diagnostics at competitive pricing. Our doctors will see and care for dogs, cats, and most exotics. In case of emergency, rest assured Healing Hearts Emergency is here for you when your primary veterinarian is closed. Open nights, weekends, and all major holidays.
Welcome back to This Day. It's time to get up to speed on all the things that need to come together that make the village a great place to live. With me right now is Chuck Holland. He is the Information Services Director. And Chuck, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you having me up here. It's been several years since I've been up here. I don't think I've been up here since before COVID, and I definitely haven't seen the new studio. It looks amazing.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, thank you. It's great. It's crazy that you haven't been here in that long. So welcome back. So just was curious, as here we are in August, summer, going along. How has your summer been so far?
Summer, so far so good. It's been absolutely fantastic. The weather's been a bit warm, but I've got a chance to visit family out of state, and I've had several opportunities to go to a couple weddings, so the summer's been great.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Yeah, I love doing weddings.
Yeah.
Favorite thing.
Cool.
It's funny when you're in it. Remember when I was
Right.
getting married, all our friends were getting married, and we're
Right.
always going to weddings, and it seemed like I was tired of going to weddings, and now it's like, man, I'd give anything to go to a wedding.
Well, lucky enough for me, I wasn't. These wasn't my wedding. I just got the chance to
Right.
have a good time and relax and enjoy the ceremony.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So, how long have you been with Resident Services?
Well, let's start. I've been with Laguna Woods Village since about 2016, but in 2019, right at the beginning of 2020, we had our resident services manager who retired. And so that particular time, I was working with the broadband services division as well as information technology. And so what they did is they kept me with information technology and reassigned broadband services, and then added resident services. So I've been part of resident services since the very beginning of 2020, just before the lockdowns.
Okay.
Right,
Wow, that
right.
must have been a challenging
It
time.
was very challenging, taking a 60-year-old company like this and turning our whole business cycle upside down was just an incredible achievement by everybody. Getting all of our teleworkers working from home, getting everybody with appropriate PPE, shutting down the community services, ramping up our call center because we had no more walk-ins. So we really had to ramp up our call center to continue to provide services to the community. One of the most challenging times that I've ever had in my career.
Wow. Wow. What would you say today is the most rewarding thing about this job for you?
Right now, just seeing what we've been able to do, right? So the idea for me is it's the transformation, right? We need to bring the customer service environment to the 21st century. What we've done, we spent a lot of time, doing things the old way, right? We had somebody who's got a 2-hole punch, they have a yellow highlighter, they're breaking out their binders, and when your communication paper, this is our main process, this is an inner office envelope. This is one of our main ways that we communicate. This is 2023 and we're still doing that. My idea is why not do a digital transformation when what we should be doing is not going with the old style with the paper. Why not we just use the electronic devices that are out there, right? Why not use the new technology to make us more efficient, more cost effective, allow us to be able to do more with less over a longer period of time.
Absolutely, yeah, and you see this happening in many, many companies where,
Absolutely.
yeah, even cash registers are no longer a thing. It's the iPads or
Right.
totally different.
Yeah, no, I was so ashamed. I was at the last year or so. I was walking out of the supermarket, and Girl Scouts were there out there selling cookies, and I do the typical blow off. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't have a cash app. She goes, well, I got a cash app right here. You can pay me right here on the phone. And a little 6-year-old kid's got a cash app on her phone selling cookies. I'm
Wow.
like, wow. So we need to bring Laguna Woods Village into the 21st century, and that's what we're trying to do.
Absolutely. Okay, great. What are some of the things that Resident Services is responsible for?
Well, yeah, from a real high-level overview, Resident Services is really responsible for all the call center operations, all the incoming resident requests for all the walk-ins, all the vehicle registrations, the community access, the RFIDs. Registering all the vehicles, right? That's a high level overview.
Taking a look at all the key services that you
Right.
guys provide.
Right.
I mean,
Really,
this is quite the list.
Yeah, exactly. We won't go over the whole entire list here, but the main areas that we do with it, resident services, is first and foremost when you come in, we want to make sure that lobby area is really looking really nice. We have Delphine Maffey, she's our executive assistant, and she does all that decorating that you see down, all the holiday decor, make sure the area is very nice and tidy and organized. And then we have the concierge area. We have a concierge. Instead of somebody waiting in line to get information, they can just walk right up to the concierge, ask directions, figure out what they need to do. And if you do need resident services or need to be able to get assistance from one of the VMS staff, you have the ability to check in at the kiosk, right? So we're managing that whole intake process, right? That's the number one thing that we do at the very beginning, right?
Okay. How many people are working in that area?
Right. Well, we have it broken up into a couple different sections. Resident services, not everybody in resident services does the same thing. So we have the concierge area. Then we have the front office area. We have 9 windows, right? So we have 9 staff members that are working those windows upstairs. Once you check in, you're able to go to any window and to get any type of services you want. That's one of the things that we modernized during the COVID shutdowns is, why don't we cross-train everybody so they could do everything at all the windows? It used to be Windows 1 and 2 were for vehicles, Windows 3 and 4 were for maintenance, Windows 5 and 6 were for this, and all the work was broken up. And so we had residents waiting in multiple lines to get service. Now what it is, they come in, they check in the kiosk, they take a seat, and once the first available window is open, they'll call them up to the window and handle their service.
Definitely more efficient.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
And it's so welcoming too, like you said about the concierge. I mean, I know my first time walking in here and
Right.
I'm thinking, I don't know where to go. And
Right.
it was very welcoming and very easy to get the information that you needed. One of the things on the list here, radio dispatching. Tell me about that. What is that?
Well, that's just one of the sections we have in resident services. So we have the concierge, we have the front office, but now we have the back office. The back office is where the call center is at. That's where all the phone calls that are coming in. We're doing about 150,000 phone calls a year, doing about, oh goodness, between 12 and 15,000 phone calls a month. But as part of that, we have a radio dispatch. We have 2 radio dispatchers that are managing all of our emergency tickets with the field. They're in constant contact with the field for plumbing leaks, tree falls, things that are going on in the community that need immediate emergency help. Not medical emergency. We're talking about floods and things like that. So they're dispatching all those different work centers depending on the nature of the work that needs to be done.
Wow. And do you have many emergencies like that per day?
Yeah. We have, well, when we say emergencies, and I'm saying property emergencies,
Right.
what we don't want to happen, plumbing is the biggest one. What we don't want to happen, if you have a leak on your 3rd floor condo and water is flowing out of your tub or your toilet and it leaks down to the 2nd floor and 1st floor, now it becomes a $100,000 cleanup effort. But as soon as you report a water leak in, we usually get a plumber out there same day within a matter of hours through the radio network to be able to shut that water off and get the repair done.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, that's great. Is there any other thing of these services that maybe residents don't necessarily know about, but something you wanted to expand on?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that we do is key management. A lot of times, if there ever is a flood or a plumbing emergency, it's nice if residents come down and they check in a key. That way, when the security department or emergency maintenance staff needs to get access to your unit and you're not available, we have the key to get in there and to be able to fix those issues before they become a larger problem. That's one thing. Another service that we'd like for residents to take advantage of is the resident portal. You can pretty much do everything on the resident portal or via email online than you can by calling or can by walking in. You can pay your bills online, you can check your account balance, you can print your statements, you can view your active vehicles, you can update your emergency contact information. Pretty much everything you can do by standing in line downstairs at resident services or calling in, you could do yourself online.
Okay, and then I believe, don't you also get like a ticket number or something, so that way it does go in and
Correct.
you know that
Yep.
that your request has been received?
Absolutely. What we're really trying to do is trying to automate our communication process. So when a ticket is created for you, if you have a phone number and email address on file with resident services, you're going to get an email confirmation, and eventually you're going to get a text message confirmation to let you know, hey, we received your request. And then if the work needs to be done and scheduled inside your manor, when we schedule the appointment, you'll get an alert with the date of your appointment, right, via email and text messages. And then ultimately, when the work is completed inside your manor, we're going to send you a follow-up email with a survey asking you how well we've done.
Oh, wonderful. That's good information to know. And where is the website that they go to do this?
All right, great. You can just go to the community website at lagunawoodsvillage.com. And in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see a login. That login, you click on the login, you'll use your email address that's on file. There's a registration step. If it's your first time using a resident portal, it'll ask you to register. Use your email address on file, put in your email address. It will send you a link to set up your password. Once you set that link up and set your password up, you'll be able to log in very easily every time.
Yeah, and then it's easy from there.
Yep.
Perfect. And then so budget's always a big item. What needs to be considered when you're
Right.
looking at the budget?
Well, right now, just like everybody else in the U.S., we're having a labor shortage, right? Currently we have 5 open positions right now. And these positions are not front office, they're not radio dispatch. We have 5 open positions in our call center. We have a team lead position open, and we have 4 call center agent that those positions are vacant. And we can really tell when our call center only has 10 agents and we're missing 4, so we're only at 60% strength, right? 60%. And so what that means that the call center is suffering with longer hold times and abandoned call rates are pretty high because we don't have enough staff. So that's really a big budget consideration. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to reevaluate our pay scale. We're looking at third-party solutions like external call centers. We're looking at it from every angle to find a better solution for us. And so those are definitely budget considerations that we have.
And because you said you have 12 to 15,000 calls per month?
Per month.
Wow.
And about 5,000 walk-ins. I'll have some stats for you later, and we'll get right into those numbers.
Okay. All right. So what are the priorities for resident services?
So this year's priorities, of course, is call center excellence. What we're trying to we have an onboarding, for new hires, we have a very robust onboarding program. We partner up our new incoming agents with a fellow agent that becomes their buddy, if you will. We run them through the paces of all their different programs that they have to support. We slowly introduce them into the phone, and so onto the phones to be able to accurately handle incoming requests from residents. But call centers excellence is important. Not just training them on how to use the computer system to fulfill the orders, but how to use cultural sensitivity to understand our age demographics, our international demographics, to make sure that we're providing the best level of service at the most affordable cost.
Okay, wonderful. And what's the main thing you want your employees to embrace when they're in this position? And
Right. Well, customer service is number one, right? The customer is always right. You have to kind of look at it this way. The folks, we would not be here at all if it wasn't for the residents. The residents pay a lot of money to live here every month. I know sometimes they call and they're not the most friendliest, but that's not about you. It's about them. What can we do to serve them to make their lives better? And that's what we really tried to imbue into the attitude of the resident services agent.
I was going to ask, what is the biggest challenge that the call operators,
Volume.
deal with? Just the volume.
Really, it's really interesting. Me and Paul were having this conversation earlier. It's like it's an 80-20 rule, like everything else. 20% of the residents call 80% of the time. And sometimes some of our residents, they'll call 100 times in 1 month. So it's the sheer volume and the repetitiveness is the biggest challenge that they've had. More often than not, most people are pretty friendly, but it's the few and far and in between that really cause some problems.
Are people calling again because it hasn't been finished yet, the job, or they just have questions?
Absolutely. And it could be a myriad of things. They could be calling on behalf of their neighbor. They could be calling because because it's a common area issue. They could be calling because it's a building maintenance issue. They could be calling for a billing issue. The breadth and depth of services that we have downstairs in resident services is absolutely amazing. So they could call 20 times in a month for absolutely totally different things. Now, however, yes, we do have a lot of repeat calls. When is somebody coming out? When is somebody coming out? When is my appointment going to be scheduled? Well, sometimes they forget that they've called 5 times before, and so we've had to let them know. So there is some repeat phone calls that are there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then one of your other priorities is standard operation procedures.
Right. That's one thing that's really important with training our agents. We want to make sure that they're trained the same way and delivering the same answers and providing the same level of support uniformly across the board. Right. We want to make sure that people are following the board of directors' rules and regulations, their policies and procedures, and their resolutions. So we want to make sure that all of that is documented. We're tracking about 2,800 individual activities. Each individual activity has its own standard operating procedure. Is it billable? Is it not billable? Is it available for Third? Is it available for United? Is it GRF only? So we have something called an event code matrix where we're checking through all of these checklists while we're on the phone to make sure that we're giving the same exact level of service, no matter if you're an agent that's been with us for 3 years or an agent who has been with us for 2 years.
How long is the training to become an agent?
We have 3 levels of agent. We have level 1, level 2, level 3. Level 1, we really focus on the really basic calls, vehicle registration, guest access, so on and so forth. It takes about maybe 3 to 4 weeks to get somebody on the phone to do some training there. Level 2, maybe 4 to 8 weeks, depending on their aptitude. We start introducing to them maintenance and landscape phone calls. So that's about 2 months. And And then ultimately our level 3 agents, they're the ones handling our broadband services telephone phone calls. They're doing technical support phone calls. So some of our agents are really good. They're on all three, they're working all three programs at one time. They're doing broadband calls, they're doing maintenance calls, they're doing community access phone calls. That's our level 3 agents. It can take anywhere probably from 4 to 6 months to get there. But if for your average turnaround times 7 to 8 months, we are right. So we got an issue. What we're trying to do is simplify our organization, get our training down to 2 to 3 months. And so if we're keeping agents for 7 to 8 months, we're at least getting 3 or 4 months of solid performance out of them before they decide to leave. It's a high turnover downstairs.
Okay, okay. And then one of the other priorities is the ERP software integration.
Correct. Right now, there's again, we're in the 20th century. We're working on programs and systems that were developed in the early 2000s, went live in 2007, 2012. Here it is in 2023, and we're utilizing ancient software that we're using now. Now what we're looking to do is we have a lot of individual systems that are all stitched together, and it's very expensive and cumbersome to support that. What we've moved towards is we're moving with a Microsoft Dynamics enterprise resource programming platform, where eventually we're going to get all of our services for our residents, for our agents, and for the rest of the VMS staff members into a single platform. So that's web enabled, that they can get access to from home, to provide a wider level of services and a more uniform day-to-day experience getting the job done.
So they'll eventually see this, like when they go to the LagunaWoodsVillage.com and
No, I'm sorry. For the residents, what will look different is the resident portal piece, right? Okay. The community website, that's another project that's being handled right now. That's in a process of being upgraded and reevaluated. But for the residents, as it relates to the ERP, we're looking to do more self-service options where they can go online and book their own appointments, and or set up calendar reminders, get access to documents that they need. So they can do a lot of that now, but the new ERP will provide them even more services that they have available today.
Okay,
Yeah.
All right, makes sense. And then this brings us to the key performance indicators.
Oh, yes.
How do you know that you're performing, where you want to be?
Everything is data driven, right? In this day and age, that's one of the challenges that we had with resident services beforehand, is with our call center manager that retired, great business person, a great scheduler, great leader, but didn't have the faculties to track the metrics. That's why they really partnered up information technology with resident services, because it's all metrics, right? So what I've been able to do, we have about a 15-point checklist, and we're checking all these metrics on a day-to-day basis. The number of phone calls, the number of visitors, not just the number of visitors, but what time did that visitor check in? How long did they have to wait? How much time have they spent at the window? What was the total overall engagement, right? And so we know we have metrics for all of those things. So if you don't track it, you can't make it better, right? So we're tracking everything under the sun, and we're making constant micro changes on a day-to-day basis to provide the best level of services that we can with the resources that we have. Keep in mind, we're down 4 staff members. Right.
Well, and so then it's obviously very important for residents to do the surveys, and that's very helpful.
Right. Yeah. And this one thing is, and after we complete, when it's work that's done in the home, and then we complete the project, we're going to send you a survey. If you could take the time to be able to fill that survey out and give us some honest and brutal feedback if you can, we'd really appreciate it. What we have to take into consideration, we have to set expectations, right? We completed about 100,000 work orders last year, right? 100,000 work orders. Let's say 1,000 work orders didn't go that well, and we got 1,000 complaints. That seems like a lot of complaints, but that still means you did a 99% good job, right? So let's take it into context. Let's look at it from an overall bigger picture. Yes, sometimes things don't always go right, but by and large, 99% of the time they do.
Yeah, if you're hitting it 99% of the time, yeah.
Right.
So we're almost out of time, but let's take a quick look at some stats.
Okay, great.
So the call center year-to-date stats, tell us what this means.
So what it looks like, you have resident services and broadband services. Those are two very large queues. You can see this is through the end of June here. We already took 60,000 phone calls just for that, right? You can see the call answer rate at 73%. Why is that? Well, we know that we're missing 4 agents. So our goal is a 90% answer rate. We're at 73% now. We hear you. We know that you're waiting a long time on Monday mornings. If you can, call later in the week, in the afternoons, because if you call at lunchtime, when half my staff's on lunch, you're going to get a longer hold time. If you call at 9 a.m. on Monday morning when 1,000 other people are calling, you're going to get longer hold times. However, you call in on a Wednesday afternoon, you're going to get right through.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So Monday mornings and at lunchtime is busy. Walk-in year-to-date stats?
Yeah, 30 so far today. We see about 33,101 walk-ins so far through the end of June. You can see your average wait time is 7 minutes, and your whole average busy time is 7 minutes and 25 seconds at the window.
Okay,
Right.
wonderful. Well, you have about 4.5 stars right now, which is
Right.
not too bad, like you
Right.
said, if you're doing 99%. So,
Right. We have a very simple survey solution that we send out to all of our residents. Since we started this program when we reopened up after COVID, we sent out about 50,000 emails, and we received about 10 to 15,000 responses back. And out of the 5 questions that we have, the average is about a 4.5 star. And so we thought that was really good. All the people that do rate us at a 1 star, 2 star, we're having our team members follow up with those residents, figure out where we let them down, and course correcting to make it better.
all right, great. Thank you so much, Truck. And if you have any questions, give Resident Services a call at 949-597-4600. Stay with us. We have more of This Day right after this.
Village Television presents Friday Films, only on Village Television. Fridays at 2 and 6 p.m. Foreign films, dramas, and comedies. Award-winning films, romance and mystery. Independent films. Every Friday, only on Village Television.
All great healthcare organizations care, but the best dare to reach higher. At Hoag, we lead with life-saving clinical trials and advanced therapies. Our world-renowned specialists innovate with state-of-the-art technologies like virtual reality and robotics. Hoag is the #1 hospital in Orange County 4 years in a row. Now, more than ever, your healthcare choices matter. Choose Hoag.
Welcome back to This Day. Let's take a look at today's weather. The fog has cleared up mostly for today. Today will be partly cloudy and maybe a slight chance of rain. Tonight, slight chance of rain as well. Tomorrow is mostly cloudy, high of 73, low of 64, and a 20% chance of rain. Friday, fog in the morning, but then it'll gradually become mostly sunny. And on the weekend, it'll be a high of 76 and a low of 63. Taking a look tomorrow on this day, the GRF update with Juanita Skillman. Thank you so much for watching This Day. I'm Bobby Higgins. Have a great day, everyone.
Stephanie Landon, talking to you today about a significant risk for breast cancer, dense breast tissue. About 40 to 50% of women between the ages of 40 to 74 have dense breast tissue, a factor that has been associated with up to 4 times the risk for breast cancer. Speak with your physician about the best options for your health and if supplemental screening is right for you.